This is Vaasa, a city that recently caught my attention, so I started investigating it. But wait, what was I doing again? Oh yeah, let me explain these tabs. And although I'm investigating the city, I think it's best to first start with the person. Gustav Vasa was born in 1496 to the high noble family of Vaasa. He had a relatively peaceful early life, though his lack of academic excellence surely frustrated his tutors. And when reaching adulthood, the fractures in the Kalmar Union, the alliance between Sweden, Denmark and Norway, started to show. In 1518, when Christian II, the King of Denmark and Norway, marched to Stockholm to enforce the peace, Gustav and 5 other nobles were sent as assurances for peace negotiations. However, Christian broke the terms, never showing up, and sent these nobles to be imprisoned to Kalo Castle. Christian II then conquered Stockholm and made himself the King of Sweden. Inspired by his favorite author, George R.R. Martin, he invited all the Swedish high nobility to his coronation, promising amnesty to his enemies. Few days into the celebration, the castle gates were closed. Close to 100 people were executed, and many more died as a result of being imprisoned. Among those were Gustav's father, mother, sisters and uncles. Gustav was understandably not very happy about this. He had escaped his imprisonment by disguising as an ox herder, earning a nickname Oxtail, and was now hiding in the town of Lübeck. In the following years, he returned to Sweden, gathered up a peasant militia and used a loan from Lübeck to hire professional soldiers and warships. In 3 years, he had taken back Sweden, and in absence of other suitable candidates, he became the King of Sweden. The coronation of Gustav Vasa also marks the time when Österland, or Eastlands, was marked as a part of Sweden. Even before the independence of Sweden from the Kalmar Union, the heads of the state had been worried about a threat of a Russian special operation. Because of this, Gustav Vasa started establishing cities in the Eastlands, most notably a small town called Helsinki. His son continued the work and wrote a town charter for a prominent seafaring merchant town, which was named in honor of his family, Vaasa. And this was a time in my research where I had to hop on my bike, hop on the train, and continue my investigations up close and personal. The ground I would soon walk upon bore the weight of millions of years of history, as was evident when I visited the Kruseborg castle, or what was left of it. In the present day, only a memorial marks the remains, and the island it was built upon is more of a hill. This is because the land in the area was pushed down significantly during the Ice Age, and now, when the ice has retreated, the land is rising up again at a significant speed, turning islands to hills. The speed of the land rising has been calculated to be as much as 1 meter every 100 years, meaning that from the earliest recorded history of the town, from the 1300s, to the present day, the land has risen as much as 7 meters. To help you visualize that, I made this highly advanced CG illustration to show you just how much that is. Really makes you think, huh? This understandably has given the city constant headaches, as the city harbor has had to keep up with the water. From 1600s to 1800s, the town steadily gained wealth, establishing schools, enterprises, and perhaps most significantly, Finland's second royal court. However, things were about to take a turn for the worse, as in 1808 Russia launched an invasion, which would be later known as the Finnish War. Due to its resistance, Vaasa suffered more damage than any other city in Finland. The property was mercilessly looted and destroyed, and several people were forced to run the gauntlet, meaning running between rows of soldiers who would beat the person with sticks or other weapons. Finland now belonged to Russia, and Vaasa slowly got back on its feet only to be struck down again by a town fire in 1852. However, my two friends shown here that live in Vaasa told me that in retrospect the fire was a happy little accident, allowing the city to prosper closer to the seashore. Whatever the case, the old church was replaced by a new church, old schools were replaced by new schools, and although the old royal court survived the fire, that was no excuse not to build a new one. Along with changing the location, the name of the city was also changed to Nicholasstad after the Russian Tsar Nicholas I. The name lasted until the Finnish independence in 1917, when the newly freed people of Vaasa happily changed it back to its origins. However, not everyone was happy, and just a year later the people of Finland were divided in half by a civil war. The communist Red Guard of Finland took over Helsinki, forcing part of the Senate to relocate to Vaasa, where they made their decisions from this building. This also made Vaasa temporarily the capital of Finland, at least from the Whites' perspective, and luckily for the city, the White side emerged victorious. Because of their role in the war, the city was given this Statue of Freedom, depicting a victorious white soldier, as well as the right to add the Cross of Freedom to their coat of arms. The Vaasa coat of arms also features a wheat bushel, or in Swedish, Vaasa, from which the family name originated from. After the war, the city slowly industrialized, and its population as well as wealth grew. And now that the fighting was over, there was an issue to be solved that had been under fierce debate for over 200 years. This debate was about a big round lake that had slowly dried up on one side and been slowly turned into farmland. With some effort, the rest of the lake could be turned into huge fields, but many were questioning whether such a project would be worth the labor and resources needed. Though the question had been raised as early as in the 1700s, it wasn't until 1990, when August Holmström took the project, that things finally started happening. What followed was the largest drying project in Northern Europe that, after 7 years, was completed. When the ditches and the pumping station were finally done, the land was quickly cultivated, and by 1940 there were more than 300 barns in the area. After that, the area stayed relatively peaceful until a mining company looking for chalk deposits investigated the area and found to their surprise that the earth had a volcanic history. That, with the addition of satellite images revealing the round shape of the area, led to researchers forming a tentative conclusion that this was indeed an impact crater of a meteorite. This was later confirmed by follow-up drilling experiments, which confirmed Söderfjärden to be the third meteorite crater found in Finland, although it would be far from the last. This attracted many experts in the field, one of them being Matts Andersen, who was kind enough to show me around the crater and answer some of my questions. He showed me that much like the history of the land moving up and down can be seen from the surroundings of Vaasa, the history of land moving sideways can be seen from the accumulated history trapped in the soil of the crater. Due to the shifting of the land masses, the crater has visited the equator at least twice, and small fossils of prehistoric creatures such as trilobites have been found in the soil. To explain the intricate, over 520 million year old history of the crater, an exhibition was built in 2008 to showcase the fall, impact and effects of the meteorite. The crater was named the most beautiful crater in Finland, and it became an attraction not only because of its growing exhibition, but also due to the fact that the crater had become a resting spot for thousands of cranes as well as other birds. In present day, it's an ecologically friendly tourist destination, definitely worth a visit if you happen to be in the area. Likewise, The city of Vaasa is worth visiting both because of its history but also because of its present-day offerings. The city propaganda claims it to be the sunniest city in Finland, which I, as a free thinker, ignored and got sunburned. On their website, the city highlights their welfare, language, and easy access to all the city has to offer, though personally I would highlight their beach, their ocean shore restaurants, and of course the historical buildings. The city is also a great place to walk around, and if you are coming from the train station, I would recommend walking through the center, all the way to the shore, and then past the Vaasa prison, or as locals call it, the Sword Hotel. In terms of demographics, the city has a population of 67.7 thousand people, making it the 10th largest city in Finland. When looking at the population development, it seems that the city has found a comfortable level of residency that isn't estimated to change much anytime soon. Part of this stability might come from a large student population, as almost 20% of those who live in Vaasa are university students who come and go from the city. Many of those who stay will work in the energy sector, which accounts for 25% of the workforce in Vaasa. In fact, sustainable and intelligent energy creation, storage and distribution technologies are one of the city's biggest exports. And finally, in my last set of tabs, I got curious about the cultural side of Vaasa. The city has a unique mix of Swedish and Finnish culture due to their history, which has also made it a very welcoming city for other cultures. This mixing of culture can be seen in a very popular festival held in August where fire, water and light are celebrated. The festival is commonly referred to as the Venetian Festival after the city in Italy, though the Finnish version has the fireworks and carnival-like festivities mixed with celebrating the end of the summer cottage season with bonfires. And that was all I had. I hope you learned something new and I wish you a pleasant rest of your day.